Everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Andrew, and I'm going to go over with you 4 different easy to prepare options for food in an SHTF situation. If you have just a basic prepping pantry, you just have the staples that most people have, you can make these meals. So to get started off here, I'm going to start with the most common thing you will ever see people refer to for prepping meals, and that's going to be rice and beans. It's really easy to have rice. It's something that you always should have on hand for prepping. And those rice and bean combination, it's going to be an easy combo to mix up. Just cook your rice following the instructions, heat up the beans if you're using canned beans, or if you are using dehydrated beans, those dried beans, you're going to have to cook those up in some water, get those reconstituted properly so you can mix them in with your rice, and you just get something that looks like this. Now, the nice part with this is you can do a lot of different variety. So based off the type of beans can kind of change what you're going to get for a flavor, and then adding in some seasonings will let you spread it out a little further. If you do have items like canned chicken, salsa is another good one. Mix it in there, you're going to get yourself more burrito bowl flavor. So rice and beans are the first item I would have you add on to your prepping meal list here, and just you can cook those up, again, relatively simple. Side note as well, with the rice, it is a base for a lot of different things. You can use it in soups, you can use it in other items outside of eating it just as that main entree. Good thing to think about as well, I don't have an example right out in front of me here, but you can also use rice, mix in some powdered milk once you've rehydrated it, and mix in some cinnamon, and it's going to give you kind of a delicious, you can use it as a breakfast, you can use it as kind of a dessert, but it's going to give you a delicious item you can add in there, and again, bring that variety up more, because especially when you're dealing with SHTF situations long term, having that meal variety is going to make a big difference on your morale, kind of hence why I'm going over some different easy items here today. The next item I'm going to bring up here is going to be what I'm going to call kind of a poor man's chili mac. All you're going to need at a minimum is going to be macaroni noodles you can get cooked up, and a can of chili beans. Depending on the amount you're making, it might vary a little bit on what you need for cans, but kind of a minimum of 1 can. If you're going to use dried beans for this, you do need some sort of tomato product, so like more like a tomato sauce and chili powder that you can mix together to use as kind of your filler. Otherwise, the sauce that comes in with the beans in cans like this is going to work pretty well. It's going to look kind of like this. It honestly looks similar to what you would see in a chili mac that you would get in a can. But you're going to be able to make a lot more of it with a lot less, because those noodles you can add in and really spread it out further. So that's the second item I have here for you. The third item I have is going to actually be a chicken or bacon Alfredo. Alfredo sauce isn't something relatively replaceable. Normal pasta sauce is, so this is something you're only going to have for a finite amount of time that you can cook up, but the pasta sauces like this Alfredo sauce right here still will last about 18 months or so from when it's manufactured. So it's still a good thing to have on hand. You can use that, just cook up your noodles, and you can use the sauce in the meats cold. I would heat them up if you have the ability to, though, as well, on top of cooking the noodles, but you can cook up your noodles. In this case, I used fettuccine noodles and heated up my sauce. I actually used bacon bits in this particular one. So there's bacon bits in here instead of chicken, but I'll use canned chicken on these two when I make these up. And bacon bits, if you're using them, they're shelf stable, so you can still use them, you can store them. I just had ones I had to use up, so mix that in there instead. It's a tasty meal. You can make this spread over several people pretty easy depending on the amount of sauce you have and the amount of noodles. This is definitely something, with 1 thing of noodles and 1 thing of sauce, you could use to feed, 4 to 6 people depending on the people you're spreading it between, no problem. And the Alfredo sauce in particular packs a lot of calories as well. So it's definitely, because of how this is made, going to help fill you up and spread it over and feed a pretty large amount of people. The last item I have here is going to be beanie weenies. In this case, I'm using just some pork and beans and Vienna sausages, as it's going to give you a lot bigger serving size. And realistically, if you're going off the strict nutrition figures on here, it's enough that you could probably use this as a lunch for 2 people at a minimum. Maybe 3 kids if you're spreading it over some kids. But just mixing these up here, cutting up your Vienna sausages like you would a hot dog, mixing it in with your beans, just get that heated up a little bit and it'll be good to go. That's another easy to cook meal. Well, those are our 4 different options we have sitting out here today. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button. If you have a different option that you like to cook up or that you think is a good SHTF meal option, drop it down in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you guys are out there making. Most of all though, stay safe and stay prepared.